Some stories fade with time, others grow darker, and then there are stories so terrifying that they refuse to die. Tonight, we step into a world where history and nightmare walk hand in hand, into the life of a man whose cruelty carved fear into the bones of an entire continent, a man who ruled through terror, a man who bled his enemies dry, a man whose name became a myth. This is the true story of Vlad the Impaler, the real Dracula. Transylvania, a place where the forests are thick, the mountains are steep, and the fog clings to the ground like a living thing. It was here, in the winter of 1431, that Vlad was born, not into peace, not into safety, but into a world ruled by steel, blood, and ancient fears. His father, Vlad Dracula, was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a brotherhood sworn to defend their faith with fire and wrath. People whispered about them. Men of honor, yes, but also men capable of terrible violence. The child born into this household would learn both. When he was still a boy, Vlad's life changed with a single political decision. To secure a fragile peace, his father handed Vlad and his brother to the Ottoman Empire as hostages. One day, he was a prince. The next, a prisoner in a foreign land. Inside the Ottoman courts, Vlad learned the rules of a world that cared nothing for innocence. He watched beatings. He heard screams behind stone walls. He witnessed punishments so brutal they scarred the mind more than the flesh. Fear became familiar. Cruelty became normal. But most dangerous of all, Vlad learned how fear controls men, and he never forgot it. Years later, he returned home. But home was gone. Wallachia had become a nest of vipers, noble families plotting against each other, foreign powers pulling strings, assassins waiting in the shadows. There were no friends, only enemies who hadn't made their move yet. Vlad understood one truth. Mercy would destroy him. Fear would protect him. And so, he embraced the darkness he had studied for so long. When Vlad seized the throne, he brought with him a new kind of rule, a rule sharpened by betrayal, a rule built on terror. Vlad created forests not of trees, but of bodies. Impalement, his signature, a punishment designed not just to kill, but to send a message. The victim lived for hours, sometimes days, suspended between life and death in agonizing silence. When invaders marched toward his territory, they found an entire valley filled with impaled corpses stretching farther than the eye could see. The Ottoman soldiers froze. Some vomited, some fled. What kind of ruler does this? A monster, a genius, or something in between? As his brutality spread across Europe, so did the stories. Stories of a prince who drank the blood of his enemies, who dined beside the dying, who enjoyed the suffering of others. Were these stories true? Perhaps some, perhaps none. But fear does not need truth to grow. Centuries later, those stories reached the ears of an Irish writer, Bram Stoker. Stoker borrowed the name Dracula, borrowed the cruelty, borrowed the darkness, and transformed a violent ruler into a creature of eternal night, the Vampire King. In 1476, Vlad faced his final battle, but how he died, no one truly knows. Some say he was betrayed. Some say he fell in combat. Others believe assassins were paid to strike him down. But one mystery remains. Where is his body? His tomb was found, but when opened, it was empty. The body of a man feared across continents, gone, a missing corpse, a violent life, a legend that refuses to die. Perhaps that is why, to this day, people wonder, did Dracula ever truly leave the world of the living? Vlad the Impaler was not a vampire. He cast no supernatural shadow. He possessed no immortal curse. And yet, his story has survived longer than kings, empires, and nations. Because sometimes the cruelty of reality is more terrifying than any monster we can imagine. Thank you for watching Dark History Archive. Subscribe and return for more stories the past tried to bury in the shadows.